Alright, so we're here with a 2021 Chevy Camaro LT. Customer was saying that his battery died while driving, so we're going to be replacing the alternator and getting him on his way. So let's get started. So I've already disconnected this. There's a little plastic piece right here. To get it off, you're gonna have to twist it going that way, and then you're gonna have to pull it off of this. There's like a little ridge on the throttle body right there, and this holds it into place with the on the throttle body. So I just push that out of the way right there. Now I'm gonna take the throttle body off so I can get more room to the alternator. The throttle body bolts are 10 millimeters. So yeah, there's 4 bolts for the throttle body. That's what the throttle body looks like. Just giving it a quick inspection, making sure it looks good. And what I like doing is I like to put the bolts back onto the throttle body. And putting it over here somewhere so it doesn't get lost or ruined. Now I got more room to the alternator. It looks like there's a clip holding these in. Let me go grab a pair of pliers real quick. Sometimes they can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. There we go. There's one. And then there's a second one on the other side right here. And then there's a clip right here that we can take off too. Looks like there's a little tab. I don't know why the tab is not coming out. grab the little needle nose. There we go. Got that out. I just tucked that under there somewhere away from everything else. It looks like it's going to be 13 millimeters. I'll confirm that here in a second. I'm going to have to take off the belt. So let me confirm the size on this. Yeah, so they're 13 millimeters. I gotta grab a socket wrench real quick. So what I like doing is I kind of like loosening up the bolts before I take off the belt. You can do it whatever way you want to do it, but I prefer just doing it this way. There's 2 bolts on the top, and I believe there's going to be 2 on the bottom. But if you're not sure, because I'm only feeling one, but if you're not sure, you can always look at the alternator that you bought to confirm how many bolts there are. So that's what I'm gonna do. Where's the alternator? Huh? Alternator? I leave it on. Okay, so yeah, there's only 3 of them, 3 bracket holes. So we're gonna take those the belt off now, and then we're gonna take the rest of the alternator out, and we'll get the new one in. Okay, so you loosen the tensioner. You don't have to take the belt all the way off if you don't want to. But I take it off and then I let it rest right there and let the tensioner go. Now your alternator is free. Now you can unzip the rest of the alternator. Here's one of the bolts. The first one is going to come off with like a bracket, and that's where your clips for this wire right here will sit. So I would just leave the bolt in with the bracket. I put it over here with the other parts. Now go for the second one. I think this one is just going to be a nut instead of a whole bolt. I think there's like a stud that holds this one in. Yeah, so it's just one 13mm nut that holds it in. And now there's one on the bottom we can get to. And then there's there's going to be one long one. So the longer one will go on the bottom of the alternator. So let's put that back over here. And the alternator should come free now. There's still electrical connectors that are on the alternator that we got to take. Okay, so we got to get that one clip out from the back of the alternator. Then you can pull this off. Lay it down like that, and then expose that wire. Gonna take that 13mm out. Now we can pull this out. And there's your old alternator. Now we gotta come over here, grab the new one. Put the old one back in the garage. Take the sticker off. Now we're going to take the bolt off. Make sure everything's good on it. Give it a little bit of an inspection. Looks good to me. Now we can go put it back in the car and do everything the same way, just backwards. Tighten up that 13mm nut. Make sure it's nice and tight. Now there's going to be a stud right here, if you can see that. Right there where my hand is, there's the stud. Now you're going to line it up, the alternator up on that stud here. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover this bolt up with the boot to protect it from touching anything that it shouldn't be touching. There you go. Now, what you're going to want to do is get your plug plug it in there, and yo, you're like a click, and that's how you know it's in. Now we're gonna get our nuts and bolts and put them back in. Remember, the long one goes on the bottom. Get it a couple turns, get it started. Get your little nut. Get it started on that stud. Now, before we put that bracket back on, I want to tighten up these two Now we're going to tighten up that stud. Now we're going to put this in. So it's only going to go in one way. And that's going to be this way. So make sure you don't have any things that are in the way when putting it in. Give it a couple turns to start it. And then you can get your socket wrench and just tighten it up the rest of the way. Just starting up the bolts. Now we can get our little zap gun. You don't want to go full force on them, just gently zip them in if you're using a zap gun. Okay, so now that's in. Now all you have to do is get your little electrical connector for it, pop it in, push that tab in, and your throttle body's back on. Now, what we're going to have to do is bring this over here, line up our belt, to get the belt back on for alternator. So the belt now is back on. So now, I'm going to push this thing back on. And then, I just use a little screwdriver, a flathead. And I just push it back into place with the tab. Sometimes they can be a little difficult. And you can tell if they're back in place because they won't come back off. So, and then this, when you go to take this off, this little thing here, it pushes downwards. So when you want to go take it off, you want to pop this up and pull it out. And it goes right here on your air intake for your throttle body. And that's how you put that back on. And that's that for the alternator on the 2021 Chevy Camaro LT. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be sure to answer them as fast as I possibly can. Have a good day.